Imagine a shoreline bathed in sunlight, the sea lapping gently at your feet. Now picture a sudden, unstoppable wall of water racing in, sweeping everything in its path. Homes, lives, even entire towns erased in moments. It's a scenario that terrifies us today, yet millennia ago, one ancient city anticipated this threat and built to face the fury of nature itself. Welcome to Singularity Animations, where we travel through time to uncover the extraordinary stories of our past and how they still shape our future. Today, we journey deep into the sands of time to explore one of the most astonishing finds of archaeology, the massive defensive walls of Dhalavira, designed more than 5,000 years ago to stand against the waves. The land of Kutch in modern Gujarat holds secrets buried in dust and stone. Dhalavira, once a thriving site of the mighty Indus Valley civilization, rose where the desert met the sea. But what if I told you that this city, built around 3000 BCE or earlier, was not only a marvel of urban planning, but also one of the world's earliest disaster-prepared cities? At first glance, Dhalavira appears like any other Indus Valley urban center. A citadel, a middle town, a lower town, carefully laid out streets, water management systems, and grand gates. But as researchers dug deeper, as they probed beneath its walls and analyzed the sediments, they uncovered a startling truth. This settlement was built on a coastline vulnerable to tsunamis, and its people knew it. They didn't just build walls against human enemies, they built them against the sea itself. In recent years, a team from the CSIR National Institute of Oceanography (NIO) in Goa, led by scientist Rajiv Nigam and colleagues R. Dubey, R. Saraswat, A. S. Gower, and Vijay Loveson, published a research paper in Current Science titled "Ancient Indians, Harappan Settlement Were Aware of Tsunami or Storm Protection Measures, a New Interpretation of Thick Walls at Dhalavira." What they proposed turned centuries of assumption on its head. The massive walls, 14 to 18 meters thick in places, had puzzled archaeologists for years. Many assumed fortification, or water management, or some as-yet undeciphered function. But Nigam's team argued the walls were a defense against storm surges and tsunamis. Let's travel back 5,000 years. The sea levels were higher. The coastal geomorphology of the Kutch region was dynamic. The city of Dhalavira stood on a spit of land linked to channels named Mansar in the north and Manhar in the south. It was deeply connected to maritime trade to the Arabian Sea. But proximity to the sea carried risk. The region is influenced by the Makran subduction zone, a tectonic setting capable of generating seismic sea waves even in ancient times. According to the research, the team used ground-penetrating radar, GPR, in unexcavated parts of the lower town and found a homogeneous layer of soil about 2.5 to 3.5 meters thick that contained shells of foraminifera, microscopic marine organisms that live only in seawater. That meant marine sediments had been transported inland, likely via an extreme oceanic event. One of the NIO press statements quotes Dr. S.W.A. Knockley, director of NIO. The deposit of such a component from seawater into the soil could have occurred due to forceful movement caused by an extreme oceanic event, like a tsunami. So the evidence: big, thick walls, layered marine sediments inland, ancient city by the sea, and the hypothesis: defense against a wave catastrophe, not mere fortification against armies.
Why is the wall so thick? Nigam and co-authors argue that typical Harappan fortifications were comparatively modest. At Dhalavira, the wall reaches up to 18 meters in width, a colossal scale. The authors note that walls of such thickness are not found even in historic times, when the conflicts have been more common and the weapons had become increasingly more destructive. Moreover, the site shows little evidence of major warfare or military invasion in that period that would justify such massive walls purely for defense against humans. Climate and geological context make a stronger case. Let's dig into the lesser-known details. Unexcavated beneath the lower town, GPR identified the thick sediment layer which extended across the town plan. The researchers noted that the city flourished for about 1500 years, approximately from 5000 BP to 3450 BP, before present. They also pointed out that the area's sea level history during the mid-Holocene supports higher sea levels and therefore greater exposure to marine events. The wall has dimensions, the main outer wall, also described as citadel wall, up to about 18 meters wide, with inner and middle town walls somewhat narrower but still substantial. Furthermore, the research mentions that tsunami wave heights along the Gujarat coast range between 2 to 10 meters in simulation studies. So when you imagine the waves the Dholavirans may have planned for, multiple meter high, powerful enough to carry marine sediments 2 to 3 meters inland, and the response? Constructing a fortress-level wall, not just one to keep out neighbors, but to hold back the sea. It is worth mentioning the discovery of the site itself. Dholavira was initially brought to attention by local geologist clerk Shambhudan Gadhvi in the early 1960s. The formal excavations began under the Archaeological Survey of India, ASI, in the 1990s. And now, thanks to interdisciplinary investigation by oceanographers, geophysicists, archaeologists, we are seeing a new dimension to this ancient city. Another lesser-known fact, in the 2016 Goa article Indian Express, Nigam remarked that the model of the wall is similar to the 400-kilometer seawall that Japan started last year. The width of the seawall we learned is 12 meters, but the idea is the same. He pointed out that when Dholavira was raised, its builders had knowledge about prior catastrophes and designed against them. This may be the world's first tsunami protection wall. According to the NIO team's interpretation, Dholavira is the world's oldest known site which could have been hit by the tsunami, and the walls built to protect, dating over 5,000 years. Think about that. In an age when humans lacked telescopes, satellites, even formal weather warnings, these people anticipated the sea's wrath and built accordingly. And what does that tell us? That hazard awareness, disaster-prone engineering, and resilience are not exclusively modern traits. They were embedded in the human story long before our time.
But we must also weigh the caveats, and therein lies deeper insight. The exact date and magnitude of the tsunami that might have struck Dholavira is yet to be firmly established. Nigam states that the exact timing of the sediments deposited in Dholavira is yet to be established. And while the marine sediment layer is compelling evidence, interpretation as tsunami versus storm surge remains subject to debate. The authors themselves phrase it as a hypothesis. So the Dholavira story is as much about what we can interpret from the evidence as it is about what we know. Within that nuance, here are some of the lesser publicized details. The site division: the castle, middle town, lower town. The GPR work focused on the lower town area because that is closer to the former shoreline and more vulnerable to marine intrusion. The researchers emphasize that the elevation of the city is sufficiently high to rule out ordinary river flood or channel flood as the cause of these marine sediments. In other words, classical inland flooding cannot explain the finding of marine foraminifer in large numbers. In the 2016 paper, Current Science, the authors also mentioned that the climate during the mid-Holocene included higher sea levels, so Dholavira might have been directly adjacent to the ocean or at least tidal waters, much closer than today. Although the walls have been called fortification, the authors argue that military threat at that time would not have justified such extreme thickness. Weapons were limited, warfare evidence minimal, so the thicker wall is more plausibly for environmental defense. The proposal also links to broader recognition that the western Indian coast, Gujarat, Makran, is tsunami-prone due to tectonic setting. For example, the 1945 Makran earthquake generated a tsunami over 10 meters in height. Funding and excavation issues. According to the Indian Express article, the team had applied for further exploration, a close grid survey, but the budget and mandate issues slowed progress. Picture those enormous walls, 14 to 18 meters thick, standing sentinel at Dholavira's shoreline. Imagine them confronting a surge, blocks of stone and earth resisting the force of the sea. Picture the settlement beyond, the middle town, the lower town, fishermen's boat anchored to trade networks across the Arabian Sea, venturing across to Mesopotamia, Oman, trade in lapis, shells, beads. The traders and artisans of Harappan civilization were connected to a maritime world, and yet they were wise enough to know our sea can turn against us. For centuries the wall may have held, and then about 3,450 years ago, perhaps the sea delivered its blow. The lower town bore marine sediments. Beneath its surface, ghost walls slept under a cover of 2.5 to 3.5 meters of homogeneous marine-derived soil. The city declined. Some propose that at least part of the collapse of Dholavira may be linked to this event. What is astonishing is that this is not a myth or a legend. It is written in the sediments, in the size of the walls, in the urban layout of a 5,000-year-old city. This discovery reminds us that human beings have long grappled with natural hazards and have responded with engineering, planning, adaptation. The builders of Dholavira show that resilience is not new. Amid limited technology, they recognized risk, accepted it, and constructed for it. In our era of climate change, rising sea levels, and stronger storms, this is more relevant than ever. It tells us that we must examine ancient sites not only for cultural or ritual meanings, but also for environmental adaptations. Archaeology and geoscience together can give us models of early disaster management. The NIO study is an example of interdisciplinary research giving fresh insight. From a coastal management perspective, we live today with modern sea walls, breakwaters, storm surge defenses. The Dholavira Wall suggests that large-scale coastal defense is not the sole preserve of modern engineering. Sometimes ancient societies anticipated what we still struggle with. That means modern planners might benefit from studying ancient analogues, combining local knowledge, geomorphology, materials and design. This is profound that our past holds warnings. The fact that an advanced urban center of the Indus world might have faced a tsunami and built accordingly is a wake-up call. Modern coastal cities around the Indian Ocean, the Arabian Sea, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan all face tsunami risk. The geological setting hasn't changed that much. Tsunamis are not uncommon in the region, as NIO scientists state. Dholavira is the mirror we peer into to see what may still be possible. Dholavira is more than a ruin. It is a testament to human foresight. It is a message sent across millennia that says, build strong, expect the unexpected, live where you must, but defend your future. The massive wall of Dholavira stands silent now, but its voice echoes in our time. So the next time you see modern sea walls, breakwaters rising against the tide, remember the ancient stones of Dholavira, erected not to vanquish men, but to hold back the sea. And for us in the 21st century, perhaps the greatest astonishment is this. We are still learning from those who walked the earth 5,000 plus years ago. Their understanding of peril, their planning for the worst, and their city by the sea, they speak to us still. Thank you for joining Singularity Animations. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe so we can bring you more tales where ancient wisdom offers lessons for our tomorrow. Until next time, walk softly through history, listen to the stones, and remember, the greatest walls are built not just of stone, but of foresight.